What's up, guys? With the last video of the night, well, not necessarily last video for the game of the night. Um, the Atlanta Hawks beating the Boston Celtics really badly. 110, 110 to 83. Um, it was a pretty good back and forth in for the first early part of the game, like the first quarter to the early part of the second quarter, where the Boston Celtics were just giving it to the Atlanta Hawks defensively. Even well, I'll get into that in a sec. It it will all end in that second quarter. It will all end in that second quarter because Kent Bazemore went on a killing spree on threes, and then everybody followed suit. And like pretty much watching some dude just pulling bullets in everybody's faces, and then all of a sudden the other soldiers are just like, "Yo, I'm with him. Let's just do it." Bazemore just telling everybody, "Come on in. We're inviting you in. Just dog these dudes," and that's what everyone did. Just draining threes all over the place, just beating them down, driving in. It was just a massacre tonight. Even though the Atlanta Hawks were making huge mistakes, because the Boston Celtics kept like going having like these semi runs, but of course the Atlanta Hawks just backed them down. But they need to clean that up, especially Schröder. He needs to play a better game, especially keep his ego in check because this. I think he got ejected. He got a technical foul somewhere in the third or fourth quarter against Isaiah Thomas because he was talking garbage, I think, right up in his face, and we haven't seen him since playing. He needs to keep that in check because last two games, Isaiah was dogging everybody, and you were nowhere to be found. So that's something to look at. For the Boston Celtics, however, my worst fear and a problem that I have stated so many times about the Boston Celtics, being so great but also being incomplete at the same time, this very problem. Isaiah Thomas is the primary scorer for the Boston Celtics, right? However, he seems to be the only primary scorer. He seems to be the only scorer, like a legit scorer, someone who can actually put up the numbers on a daily basis for his team. No one else can really put up on numbers on a daily scale. Evan Turner used to do that, but not anymore. Back when he was in Philly, Olenek used to do that, but he hasn't recovered this season at all. You can't rely on Marcus Smart even after that monster game he had last time. Back to what I'm saying. What happens when your primary scorer goes into a slump? Because eventually scorers are going to go through these slumps. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the team needs to prepare for something like this. Isaiah Thomas went on a slump tonight. 3 out of 12 shooting, 0 out of 4 from the 3-point line. And then that's the problem. That's what happened tonight. When your score is down, everybody falls apart. No one seems to put on a score. The only person that really put up numbers was Evan Turner, who led the team with 15 points, 5 out of 10 shooting. You have Joe Crowder shooting 4 out of 10. He has been struggling a lot, actually, on the offensive end. Jared Finkel had 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Amir Johnson only played 13 minutes. You look at Marcus Smart, he's not going to put up the same numbers as he did before. He only had 10 points, 2 out of 7. Um, Olenek has been completely useless this entire series. I think he has become completely useless in this entire season because he hasn't recovered from his injuries. and you can't trust Sullinger for something, and that was the problem. They had no one to rely on because Isaiah Thomas is not he's not putting up the numbers like he used to, like he's been doing this entire series. And with him down, there's no one, pretty much no one. And that was the case. And where you have Atlanta Hawks, you have people who could put up numbers for you, small numbers, but as a collective, bam, you got something going on. So let's look at it. Kent Bazemore has 16 points, second in the team right now. 4 out of 9 for the 3-point rate. He was lighting them up, especially in that second quarter, dropping three buckets down there. You have Paul Millsap with 10 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and a block shot. Al Horford only played 23 minutes, 2 out of 11 shooting, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 points. 13 points from Kyle Korver, who has been struggling this entire game. Well, the last 2 games. The first 2 games, he was just balling. The last 2 games, the 3 and 4, basically, he was struggling. But now he ain't struggled this time. 3 out of 6 from the 3-point range. You have Jeff T dropping 16 points on there. And you have Scott dropping 17 points, playing very, very good for this team. Man, that is something to look at. For the next game, Boston needs to do some more ball movement because that's one of the things that was great about the game 3 and game 4. The ball movement was great, especially for the pick and roll when they driving in. It was great. Atlanta Hawks just has too many weapons to deal with. Even how great the Boston Celtics defense is, eventually is going to break if the offense is not picking up. They had 20 turnovers this game for the Boston Celtics. 20 turnovers. So that's it for tonight, for the last game. Tomorrow, Charlotte Hornets versus Miami Heat. The series is tied. Portland Trailblazers versus the LA Clippers. The series is tied. Remember, CP3, Chris Paul is gone. Blake Griffin is gone. So it's going to be a whole change come Game 5. That's probably going to be the most important game for Wednesday tomorrow. And you have the Houston Rockets versus Golden State Warriors. You don't have Stephen Curry. But I'm pretty sure Golden State is going to wrap this up. So that's it for me. Good night.